Hello everyone and welcome to the 4th episode of 30 years of Jurassic Park, a celebration of 30 years of our favourite film and a closer look at the actual paleontology of the dinosaurs present in the film thanks to information provided by our friends at Everything Dinosaur. Today we are looking at the Brachiosaurus, a towering titan which is iconic for one of the most beautiful moments in the original 1993 film. The Triceratops appears in an emotional scene within the first film, with our cast of characters finding her sick in a field with Jurassic Park's veterinarian Jerry Harding looking over the animal. We soon discover that this animal is poorly after consuming West Indian Lilac Berries, leading to an infamous line from chaotician Dr. Ian Malcolm. There is some debate about the colour of the animal in the film, with the skin featuring browns, greys and blues. The intricate texture work across the animatronic and the cracks in the skin make this a truly breathtaking animal to behold, sentiment which is remarked by Doctors Alan Grant and Ellie Sattler. The Triceratops scene is one of the most memorable moments in the first film, but how accurate is it? Would this animal have inadvertently fallen poorly to the consumption of West Indian Lilac Berries? As always, Mike at Everything Dinosaur has helped to provide us with some facts. In Michael Crichton's book, upon which the film is based, the sick dinosaur is not a Triceratops at all, but a Stegosaurus. In the novel, it is suggested that this late Jurassic herbivore was inadvertently swallowing berries along with stones to help grind up plant material in its gizzard, hence it was actually being poisoned when it was accidentally consuming the toxic berries. Triceratops lived at a time when modern flowering plants, angiosperms, dominated the flora, whereas Stegosaurus lived during the late Jurassic, a time when cycads, horsetails and ferns were much more abundant. Late Cretaceous ceratopsians such as Triceratops had powerful jaws, an extensive and very efficient dental battery, and they chewed their food. These were tough, robust herbivores and very efficient processors of plant material. However, plants are in an evolutionary arms race with herbivores, and many plants have toxins, so plant eaters may have adopted certain behaviours to help them avoid becoming sick. For example, they could simply avoid certain types of plants because of their higher level of toxicity, or perhaps they could have consumed plant material that had been burnt in a forest fire, as the carbon would help to counter any poisons. Dinosaurs like Triceratops may have also sought out areas where there were soft clay deposits, as eating clay may have helped to counteract any toxic effects from their diets. A commercially produced soft clay, kaolin, is used in many medicines today to help settle stomach conditions and other ailments. Triceratops even seeking out clays to help nullify toxins was depicted in a scene from the recent Apple Plus TV series Prehistoric Planet. A herd of Triceratops entered a cave system to feed on clay deposits to help neutralize any plant toxins that had built up in their digestive tracts. Elephants are known to behave in this way, entering cave systems so that they can obtain minerals from the cave deposits. I don't know about you guys listening, but just reading through that has been so fascinating. Thinking about the toxicity in different plants that were part of the herbivorous diet during this era of time is a really fascinating thought. So Mike, thank you so much for providing this insight. And now let's talk about some toys. So now we understand more about the science of the Triceratops, let's look at what toys existed in the classic Kenner toy line. Thanks to jptoys.com and Jurassic Wiki, we can get a closer look. A juvenile Triceratops appears alongside the first release of Ellie Sattler, and is also referenced in a Tritop Rumble on her movie collector card. It makes sense to see this animal with Ellie here, given that Sattler stays behind with Harding to inspect the dinosaur in the film. We also received a larger version of the Triceratops in the form of the electronic Triceratops, complete with removable dino damage, a popular feature from the classic Kenner line. This animal saw some repaints, but the first version was available the same year the movie released in 1993. Of course, if you're a modern fan looking for something accurate, we also now have the gorgeous Hammond Collection Triceratops from Mattel as well. The Triceratops is an iconic dinosaur, and there's lots of model versions of it out there, so we asked Everything Dinosaur to share some of their favourites. They were keen to emphasise that our knowledge of the Triceratops genus has changed quite dramatically in the 3 decades since Jurassic Park first aired. For example, skin impressions which have recently been discovered and are still being studied show that Triceratops had large prominent scales embedded in its skin. If you are looking for a reasonably accurate model that depicts the skin texture, then the 140 scale Collector Deluxe Triceratops horridus would be a good place to start. You might not feel too comfortable about the colour scheme chosen for the model, or that it features a row of black bristles running down to the base of its tail, but the body proportions are about right and the skin texture looks quite accurate. If you are looking for classic Jurassic Park Triceratops, then Nanmu Studio figures are worth considering. Nanmu even produced a replica of a sick Triceratops entitled Heavy Lance Sick Triceratops, depicting the famous Triceratops scene from the movie. And Rebor have also introduced 2 Triceratops recently, with both being well received by dinosaur fans and model collectors. Both replicas represent males, have articulated jaws, and differing colour schemes. The Rebor Triceratops Trident King has a pair of prominent brow horns, whilst the second version, entitled Horn of Doom, has had one of its brow horns damaged. Presumably this occurred either during intraspecific combat or during a fight with a Tyrannosaurus Rex, something which classic Jurassic fans will love. There are also the Eofauna Scientific Research Triceratops figures Cryptic and Dominant that came out in 2021, and Mike felt that these deserved a mention. Whilst these models don't represent either of the 2 valid species of Triceratops that most paleontologists recognise, they do represent a transitional form which has yet to be formally named and scientifically described. So there's lots of cool toys out there, cool models on the market, and we really appreciate Mike giving us a rundown of some of his favourites for this episode. We hope you have enjoyed a closer look at the Triceratops, one of the most famous ceratopsians within the paleontological scene. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this episode, and come back at the same time next week where we will dive into another one of the on-screen animals, the gallant Gallimimus. Massive thanks to Everything Dinosaur for supporting this series. Make sure to check their website out at www.everythingdinosaur.com.